if you're watching us and you have never left home and at any point, never had a reason, but then you're surrounded by people who leave, they go out there, look for greener pasture, they come back home. Do you sometimes feel like, why am I scared? I can also do this. Today we have a wonderful guest. At a very young age, she left the country. She's been around the world. That's how I'll briefly describe her. And then she came back home and set up a business. The aim of this conversation is just to get to know Sonia better, get to know more about her business, Bicu Lounge. Oops, there you have it. Sonia Iraguha is our guest on The Real Talk today. Welcome to the show. We're coming to you from Mythos Boutique Hotel in Kiyovu. My name is Jackie Lumbasi. Our guest is Sonia Iraguha, who's the co-founder of Bicu Lounge. So is that the best way to introduce you? Co-founder,
Yes.
owner,
Co-founder,
entrepreneur?
owner, entrepreneur. I'm still getting used to being called an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
It's that whole thing of, am I really? Am I?
Do I qualify?
Do I really qualify? But now I'm owning it.
Yeah.
Because I have a friend, a fellow entrepreneur who told me, Sonia, you need to own it, speak it,
Yeah.
and walk in it. And so I'm doing that.
I love it. You're doing it so well.
Thank you.
And I love that whole African business going on there.
Yes, I love being African. I love being Rwandan.
I love that.
And I love being a black woman. So, yes.
And you said some of those things you're wearing, you designed them yourself.
I did,
You're
yes.
a very creative
yes,
person.
I did a few. Thank you so much. And a few are from brands here in Kigali, in Kenya. And I love supporting Made in Africa. I love supporting Made in Rwanda and Made in Kenya.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It is a pleasure to have you on the show,
Thank
Sonia.
you so much for
Thank you for
having me.
honoring our invitation.
Of course.
Let's go back to where your story started. Who are you, Sonia?
Wow, that's a lot. So,
Give us that.
I was born here, of course, and then family moved to Nairobi, Kenya when I was 2. I did kindergarten, primary there, and then we moved back, and I did high school here in Green Hills. I'm a Green Hills alum, yes.
Yay.
and then after that, I moved back to Nairobi where I did my undergrad in USIU as well. Shout out USIU.
La la la.
And then went to Paris, did my master's, and then came back here. But who am I? I'm a creative, bubbly, energetic person. I love life. I love people. I love my 2 homes that have made me who I am, which is, of course, Kigali and Nairobi.
And Paris to a certain extent.
I'm not claiming them. They did what they needed to do, but I'm not claiming them.
I withdraw.
But yeah, so I've just always loved I've been fortunate enough to have family and a mom who has supported me in everything I've done, whether it's the creative and performing arts, to little side hustles, to just figuring out myself as a young woman. And I'm here because of that. Yeah, I'm here because of also other women that have shaped me into being confident and being who I am.
Beautiful. I love the confidence, the
Thank you.
energy, the laughter. You know, it's quite contagious. Like, I love the whole of you. My
Thank
goodness.
you.
Were you always like that? As a child, were you the stubborn one that would pick something and run away and mommy had to chase after you because of too much energy?
As a child, you're gonna laugh. So I'm an only child. So I was once spoiled because I was the first grandchild. So you can imagine I was the apple of my grandparents' eye.
Yeah.
But I was very much into dolls and talking to dolls and just singing. I think the funniest story is that we lived in Nairobi, we lived next to a hospital called Masaba Hospital, and I would go outside and I would sing to the top of my lungs. I don't know, I thought I was going to be like Beyonce when I grew up. So I would sing, and I got to the point where even some patients would just say, "Hi, Sonia," and they would stand and sit and listen
they were
to
enjoying
me. They were
it.
enjoying.
Yeah.
And so that was me. And that was, the trouble I get in was not that kind of trouble. It was where people would just be like, "Your daughter is just quite interesting. She's just a ball of just sunshine." And so
That was good kind of trouble.
Yeah.
What kind of student were you?
Okay,
What would your
I was a
teachers say
naughty
about you?
student. My teachers would say I was naughty, but I think I was also just a creative child that needed an outlet. on how to express all that. I was very talkative. I don't think I was quiet ever.
You don't look like you were ever quiet.
No. But my teachers, I think one of my teachers told my mom, she was like, listen, put her in drama, put her in all these things that take, encourage her to own her creativity, to own who she is, to be comfortable with it. Because sometimes what happens is different schools want to, you're either math, you're either an engineer, you're either good at biology, but some students are just maybe the class clown. That turns
they're
into
gifted differently.
They're gifted differently. The entertainer, the jokester, but they also need to be owned into that, and that can help them. Whether they decide to do that later on, maybe not, but that can help them add that confidence into what they choose to do later on.
That clearly helped you, yeah?
It did.
The fact that nobody bottled you up.
It really did.
Yeah.
It really did. I think that I would thank my mom, I'd thank my grandma, aunties, because literally they've always supported and told me, you know what, if this is what you want to do it 100% then.
Yes, they allowed you to fly.
Fly. If you want to act and sing, put it 110%. If you want to go and do international relations, put 110%. So everything that I felt I wanted to do, I had that support, and it's important to have that support. I don't think I would be the woman I am today if I did not have all that support.
Yeah.
And from women.
What are you doing to support the women, the younger women in your life?
I wanted them to learn from the best, so nobody would come and say, you don't deserve to be in the bar.
Yeah.
You'd be like, I learned from the best.
I was trained.
I was trained, so I deserve to be here. And that, just adding confidence, just knowing that whatever they choose to do, whatever they want to do, that they're able to do that. And that they have me, they have other people who will back them up and say, you can do it.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Yeah. Did you ever face a situation where you were told, hey, slow down, madam? A place, whether it's a boardroom or a business engagement with someone, were you ever faced with this attitude of, man, this woman is just too much?
Yeah.
Especially being in a society like ours where women naturally just take the back seat.
Yeah, you're told to be very quiet.
Yes.
I mean, I don't think I can count how many times that has happened to me, but I will go back to one that was initial that kind of led me to put even more emphasis in the confidence in who I am. I think I was doing my master's, and I was the only black woman in my class, and I was doing it's in a fashion school, and I remember that it wasn't easy. And I remember there was a debate. I remember there was a teacher, and there was a debate about black women's hair. And he was just like, I'm tired of all this whining. There's nothing big. There's nothing wrong about it. Like, it was a back and forth debate on where I had to basically let this teacher that should be well researched about the different beauties, the different people that you're promoting in fashion and beauty and all of that, and how black women have always had the back seat. And I remember he was just like, no, not everything is a whining and crybaby session.
Oh, goodness.
And I sat there and I looked at him and I said, it's the fact that you think that you have the authority to come and tell me when I should say something I should stop being upset, stop being vocal about something. And he got emotional and started saying, I have black friends. Because I think he expected me to lash out and be loud and everything. But I was cool and collected, and I just was like, as a teacher, as somebody in an industry, as somebody that says that they came from not the best backgrounds, maybe, and did not have everything, I would think that you would be first the one to sit back and listen to when somebody's telling you their experience and what they see.
Yeah.
And so when he did that, another student was just like, I don't think you have any leg to stand on. I think you should listen. You're
being told that by this other student.
The student was telling him. No,
was telling the teacher. Okay.
And
that was a good thing, yeah?
He was a male student. And the funniest thing, the teacher backed down after he said it. And so I said thank you to him.
Yes.
But I noticed then and there that it's a
This was handled differently.
It was handled differently. I learned it from there, but you know, in such situations, it could make you cower. It could make you give up and say, you know what, I'm not gonna speak up for myself. But in that moment, I said, you know what, I'm in a class with no other black person, no other African. Most of my classmates never even heard of Rwanda. They don't even know how we are. So I made it a mission that every time we had a lesson or anything, I would be like, and what about Africa?
Mm-hmm. Why are you leaving the continent behind?
We have natural resources.
Yeah.
So if there's a group presentation, they all need to include and to research. Because they knew I was going to be sitting there, put up my hand and be like, okay, so you were talking about jewelry and everything. Do you know where most of the expensive jewels are on the you know, Queen's
the crown?
Do you know? And so because
you
they
made sure to remind them.
I made sure that it was a lesson for them as well on what Africa is about and that and what the fashion industry in Africa is about. Even if we might be a small and upcoming and growing, but you will put that in your presentation.
Exactly. No, I'm here to remind you.
I am.
I love that so much. What did you say about our fashion industry, the Rwandan fashion industry?
I love it.
When you came back after studies.
I know.
Yeah.
I was following a bunch of them on Instagram. I think I even asked them if I could interview them for my thesis. And it's beautiful to see that they're growing and they're different. Of course, we have instances where fashion, you know, inspires other fashion. That's what I'm going to call it, inspires other fashion. But you know what I mean. But that also shows that there is a demand for something made here.
Yeah.
Which is very beautiful to see, because most of the time we aspire to wear something else from somewhere else, but now that the aspiration is to wear something locally made and made by a designer here, I say we're on a good track.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And the number of designers is also increasing.
It's increased, and they're all very different and diverse in how they express themselves through fashion, and I love it. I can't wait to see more.
Great. What did you miss most about home when you were out there?
What did I miss most? Apart from family, food. I love food. I mean,
You never got used to the food. You know, like for me, food is never really an issue. Wherever I go, I will. Yes, I get used to whatever food there is instantly. I have no issues with food. I keep saying my tummy is four-wheel drive. Like it will just go with anything. Food is never an issue.
I almost became a vegetarian in not Nairobi. Nairobi.
No, in Nairobi, home. That's fine.
Home, but in Paris, I almost became a vegetarian. It was actually very difficult. I will not say what I packed in my suitcases. I will not say that.
But you had lots of extra kgs. Oh my God.
Were not clothes.
Not clothes, nothing. Not shoes.
Not all clothes and shoes. But no, it was a really struggle. And I think also I just missed, I know a lot of people say this a lot, but I just missed belonging and not feeling different.
That is something that a lot of black students that complain a lot about, yeah? It's real.
It's very real.
You feel different. They make sure you feel different.
You feel different instantly. Instantly. And it's not a nice feeling to feel. And it's coupled with also fear, because when you realize that you stand out and not in the best ways, you're afraid. You're afraid a lot of the times, and you're not at peace. You're not comfortable. It's not home. You will always... kudos to those that are able to stay and make a home and get over all of that. But for me, I just couldn't get over the fact that every day I didn't feel like I was home. Even I think to make my apartment home, I started doing it in my third year. Because
Otherwise, your suitcase was always ready,
Yeah, it was close. I didn't buy like cute, homey things. I just felt it didn't feel home. Didn't feel like home. Yeah.
I talked to a lady recently. She's just moved to Rwanda from the US and had been living in the US for a while. She's an architect, had been practicing for a while. But then she says there's a time when there was a shooting at her child's university. Now, that shooting brought back lots of other memories of situations that could have put her son in danger because, especially of his race.
Yeah.
And so she said, maybe with this, and with the many shootings that were occurring at that time, many seemingly black young males being targeted, she said it had become too much. And so I guess, as they say, East-West, home is always best,
Home is always best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say to the many young people that will sell property in order to raise money and get that visa and find a way of going up there to wash cars?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, for me, I understand the allure, because for the longest time we have been conditioned to feel like that is close to heaven. That is where to go for life to start. I use that because a lot of times people are on hold until they feel like they've arrived there, which is very sad because life is continuing. What would I say? I would say let's all be realistic, and I think the more we that come back and we that live there are more realistic in how we express and tell our stories, the more, at least go prepared. That's what
Go
I would say.
prepared.
If that's the journey you want to take, nobody should tell you no. But at least go prepared. Go knowing that it's not all roses and it's not all amazing and it's not
Gold paved, you know.
No, go prepared so that you don't feel animosity for yourself, because that's what happens later on, is that you, in some way, you regret it, or there's animosity of what you wanted and what you expected not being the reality. So go prepared so that it doesn't eat at you. And especially now with mental health and all of that, you know, those are things that would eat at you slowly and you would not know at the point where they've reduced you to just a shell.
Yeah. Did you make any strong friendships?
I did.
Okay.
I really did. And even though we're like all in different parts of the world, but I did make, and I think you need strong friendships to go through certain things and to be able to stand strong through certain things. Yes, my friends were mainly minority, Rwandan, Kenyan, and Indian.
You are in Paris and you're still looking for those.
No, but we I think when you're there, you basically navigate the world, and you attract people who are going through the same thing, because you also want to feel justified. Because sometimes you might get there and you're just like, maybe it's just me. But when you're in a community of people, it helps to go through it. I met so many Togolese, I met like Caribbean, and it was great because at least we could share our experiences, and if they've been there longer, they could give me advice. So it's fine if, you know, I didn't have like a lot of French friends, but again, we wouldn't be able to melt together or relate
connect easily.
Yeah, unless they understood the difficulty was being a black woman and an African woman. But I do have friends. I do have some French friends, yeah, and that were really receptive and were also seeing and were there to just, speak up when they needed to.
This is The Real Talk on RTV. We're coming to you from Vita's Boutique Hotel. We're talking to Sonia, so when we come back, we will discuss her return and setting up Bicu Lounge. Welcome back. It is The Real Talk. Would love you to be part of the program. Please comment, leave us a question if you have one. Use the hashtag The Real Talk. And you can also follow at S_Iraguha, at Jackie Lumbasi. We will be here to respond to your questions and comments. So, Sonia, how long did you spend in Paris then? How was the process of coming back to Kigali?
I was there for about 3 years, and COVID hit when I was there. And that was a very emotionally and mentally trying time. And then when the borders opened, actually borders and Rwanda and everybody said, guys, come home. I said, you don't even need to call me twice.
I was ready yesterday.
I packed everything. I left so much behind because I was just like, I just want to go home. I just want to see my family. I just want to go home. If anything were to happen to me, I just always would, and that's a dark place to be in. It's thinking, you don't have family close by. If anything happened to you, what does that? What does that work in a global pandemic?
Yeah.
Like, what's the story?
What happens to me? Like, something has happened to me. It could be my body. What happens to my body?
What happens to my body? My mom, my grandma. Like,
you don't want to be in that position.
I don't. So when they opened, I said, you know what? I even had like a job offer. I was like, yeah, I'm okay. Yeah. I left. I was like, nope, I'm gonna go home. And I came back, and it was great to be back. I hadn't been like back for long, in quite a while, since 2010. So that was, that's 2020. And so I got back, I met my friends, my high school friends that we were still, in contact with, and now we're adults, we're working. So it was just so much better, and a lot of them also had lived abroad, came back, and
nice.
we were just we're just talking about all the dreams we have and all the goals we have and how we're working to realizing that.
Yeah. And so how long did you take in that? Because COVID didn't end at the exact time you arrived in the country.
No, it did
so
not.
What kept you busy during that time before you then set up the business?
So when I got back, I thought maybe I would start looking for a job and figuring things out. But I went and I saw the space now that Bicu is at. It was the 7th floor of Hotel Isimbi. And so I looked at it, and it was just, they had left it. They were getting to it. I think it wasn't part of what they were going to do. But, and I had actually spoke to my grandma. I was like, if I come home, do you think I can be involved in the business in Hotel Isimbi? Or probably maybe see what we can do.
She runs the business.
She was running the business at the time, yeah. And so she was like, yeah, of course. Like, what? Yeah. And so I spoke to my aunt, and she was like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I really want like a project that would challenge me. And she was like, why don't we just, take over the 7th floor and create a rooftop lounge? And I was like, it's like, you know what? That is a great idea. She's like, yeah, I mean, it gives you some time to figure out what you want to do, and it keeps you busy. It adds on to your expertise. It bridges between what you learned, which is the creative side, and also the business side of a business. And I was like, that is amazing. And
that didn't scare you, considering what the pandemic
did.
had done to the hospitality industry?
It really did. But I think because the hospitality industry was basically like in a trance. So I think even me, I was in a trance. I didn't see it as, I didn't imagine it as it was at the time, because you're in a trance. You think you're there, you're like, yeah, I can do this. But then we started the plans, and I started creating the business plan and the mood board and everything so that we can have contractors to come and build the space. And then the second lockdown happened, and that's when I started to panic. Because I remember we had just put in, because we had to cover one spot because you could literally fall to your death. So we'd put metal pillars, and then they said lockdown. And then it started raining. It was during the rainy season, so I'm like, my metal pillars, how are they going to look after I come back from lockdown? So that now woke me up, and I was like, okay, are we really going to do this? Am I really going to be able to do this? And it took, I think that lockdown took 3 months. 3 months of thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? I've started this. I'm not a quitter. So let's do it.
Let's do this.
Let's do it. And let's be optimistic. COVID will go away. It must have been
You're psyching yourself up.
I really was.
I love your attitude. Like, I'll be my own cheerleader.
Listen,
we go.
But my friends were cheering me on as well, because they were like, Sonia, because I was really passionate. I'm like, this is what I want to do. And they're like, okay, Sonia, get to building. Build this space that you keep telling us about. Yeah. So they were holding me accountable, and with that even motivating me, because they were like reminding me, you told us you were going to do this. So we're waiting.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
They were nagging you.
They were.
You had to do it.
I love it, because without them pushing me, I think I would have just said, okay, you know what, let's take our time, let's do it. But they were like, Sonia, you've told us about this. It's getting to 8 months.
We're told about accountability partners.
Yeah.
People you're accountable to, they'll make you do things that you would have otherwise procrastinated on.
Yeah. I probably would have been like, okay, let's see how it goes. They're like, 8 months, Sonia, what's up? When are we opening?
We're set.
When
is the launch? Yes.
10 months, Sonia. So should we start preparing? What outfits should we wear? And I love it.
You have the best friends,
I do.
Best kind of friends. I love that.
I really do,
yeah. Amazing. And so the second lockdown went, you continued with your plans, and finally you opened the business.
Finally, yeah.
It came with its ups and downs.
It did.
Share that with us.
Instant potential downs, because we opened December 2021, And I think the second week or the third week of December was Omicron. Omicron was just everywhere. So I sat down and I was like, did I just open a business to have to shut down? And I was like, my staff. And I think at that time though, my aunt and I, my business partner, we literally had discussed how we made sure to make better financial decisions when we're building, so that we knew that we would have some sort of fund aside. So if anything happened, because COVID lockdowns were now something that we knew was very normal. So to make sure that they were at least 3 months in okay. You know, because you've given people a job and they're excited, they're happy.
You don't want to send them back home.
You don't want to send them back home and be like, well, okay, there's another lockdown, and then be like, sorry, you know? It had hit everybody hard, and so we wanted to also make the best decisions into having that thought in mind as well.
That was great.
Yeah. So we survived Omicron.
You did, thankfully.
We did, and of course, just figuring out as you go. I mean, this was my first business in hospitality. So
your first business at home.
At home. So like, it was challenging, but I think one thing that I take away from it is that each challenge helped me prepare myself even more for even the more challenges I got, like every challenge after that. I think when it comes to, of course, hospitality, the turnover of staff is really high, but then so you start...
I noticed that. What is the cause?
Very high. It's, I think, a lot of things. I think one, it's also the aspect of you know, if this is a stepping stone for something else. Like I don't think I've interviewed.
They don't come in.
They don't come
to
in,
stay, to build a career.
No, they come in to see, okay, what am I getting out of here? Great, I've got it.
Come to be seen by other potential employers.
So if I'm here, I hear something else is happening there, I'm gonna go there. So that's something that I realized, and I also realized that we have youth that maybe, and it's allowed, maybe they don't know what they want to do. Maybe they get the job and they really wanted the job in the initial spectrum and the initial point, but 3 months down the line, they're like, I really don't like this, or I don't want to be in this sector of the hospitality or in this position. Maybe I want to do that. So there's that. But I think the issue with that is there's no communication from both ends. Like I try to be as much to communicate, and I do that a lot, to communicate with my staff. So that at least they can feel free to come and tell me, even if they're saying, you know what, this is not what I envisioned, and that's fine. But communicate. I shouldn't get to work and then I'm asking, where is so and so?
They didn't show up.
And they don't pick up
they
your
resigned
phone.
on text.
They don't even text. They just go quiet. So I'm like, I don't need to be ghosted by staff
man.
too.
You know. Boyfriends ghost you, girlfriends do.
Let's not do it at work. So those were a few things, but I feel like we've hit a point where I've understood what also my staff need, and that's also big on that. I think we kind of think about it on an individualistic moment of where I'm the owner. It's all about me, but it's not.
It's not.
Like, the cornerstone, the heart of your business is your staff. So you have to also realize what it is that they need and speak to them about that.
Do you think it's helped to especially bringing the female employees?
Yeah.
Has it helped?
It has, because you realize that even with having them in the bar area and everything, there's still that aspect of feeling that, but women don't normally do this. You know? There's that little thing that keeps coming and saying, but you know, women don't do this, and or even customers coming and saying, but do you know what you're doing? Where's the bartender? You know, like there are people who didn't read.
Gender balance. We're not seeing the men.
They were like, they were coming. They're like, what is? Where's the bartender? And
you're
and
gonna
they would
do
be
the
like,
mixing.
I'm the bartender, and they were like, really? Can you do it? So there's those things. So there's a lot of like self-doubt.
Yeah.
And I realized that. And sometimes people just want an ear to listen. And it's okay.
Sometimes that's all somebody needs.
So that's all somebody needs.
So there was this challenge that became too public.
Yes.
The one that, oh my God, we all knew Sonia. We knew there was Bicu Lounge. And then there was this Sonia who woke up one morning.
Yes.
And she opened her heart.
Yeah.
What was happening to you?
I was in a very scared, dark place, I will say. I think I always said I would never tweet. I mean, I would tweet a few things here and there, but to go in detail, It was,
you had never done that.
I'd never.
Yeah.
It was a release, actually, and because I just didn't know what else to do. And I hoped that me crying for help, it was a cry for help. It was literally like, please, I really need your help. If I'm doing something wrong, tell me, you know, advise me on how to do it. If there's somewhere else I need to build, tell me, you know. I really...
What exactly had happened? How had you been handled? What was the story behind it?
So we've been having noise pollution complaints for a while since I opened, and we were able to kind of figure out a balance. But that day, I think it was 6:30, the officer came not dressed in uniform and did not want to listen to us being like, we weren't even called, and it had been a while since we'd actually gotten a complaint, maybe 2-3 weeks. So we were like, we've not been called, what's wrong? And they just did not want to listen, and they were like, we're taking the equipment.
6:30 p.m. That's literally when you're opening business.
Yeah, literally, we've been open for a few hours.
A few hours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
but that's when it's getting busy, yeah?
It's getting busy. And so we tried to basically be like, listen, I feel like, you know, where I am in a commercial area, my business is located in a commercial area. Is there anything, like, how can we come up with something that works for me and also for my neighbor? You know, I understand. But
so you were told about a particular neighbor?
I was, okay. Yeah. We'd also been in contact quite a few times, but weren't able to kind of come to a resolution or compromise. So that was me asking, you know, the police, RDB, everybody else that has the authority, that has the research, that has, you know, the mandate to come and help. If we both can't come to an understanding,
then let there be a mediator.
Let there be a mediator and somebody to come and say, okay, let's figure out a way that works for both of us. Because I would never also want to be in a situation where I feel somebody else is going away feeling like I trampled over their rights. No. And I also shouldn't feel like my rights are being trampled over as a business. So that was my cry for help. Literally, that was like, we've tried this, and maybe it's time for me to kind of put it on a platform and see if there'll be actual response that will help kind of end all of it.
Did you expect the kind of support that you received from friends and lots of strangers online? Did you expect the kind of attention that tweet attracted?
No, I mean, I had a lot of clients, like Bicu clients love us, and they've witnessed this through the months and years, and I knew they've been waiting. You know, I knew that they were upset for me and they were passionate for me, but in no way. I thought it was gonna be like a cute 10, 20, you know, and the cute likes and the people who normally come to Bicu and my friends and just be like, oh, Sonia, yeah, oh my God. I was overwhelmed. I was shocked and I was humbled and I really was emotional. I couldn't believe it. And it just showed, it showed that a lot of people feel what I felt.
What you were going through, yeah.
Yeah, and they felt my message and they understood me and they put themselves in my shoes, which is incredible because most of the time people don't really put themselves in your shoes.
In your shoes, no, yeah. Please, we all have our issues going on.
No, so that was honestly, I would love to take the opportunity to thank everybody for liking, retweeting, sharing, commenting. Honestly, I have no words, and it still is quite shocking to me still.
I have a friend of mine, a colleague, Imi, who actually wrote an op-ed based on that tweet.
Oh, wow.
And she, just talking about the power of social media
Yeah.
and how it came through. You used the tool,
Yes.
it came through for you.
It really did.
Did the authorities that you were crying out to get in touch that day?
They did. They were
that
fast.
same day?
They were fast. They really did. And I appreciate them for doing that. They really did. And I think a lot of them just wanted to know what was going on and how that was going. And I think we also saw a lot of new regulations that came out of it, the decibels that were released. That was good.
Because you're also seeking clarity.
I really
Can you be clear on this?
Yes, because, sound is subjective. You know, we can be sitting in a room 10 people, and somebody can, and there could be music, and 2 people or 3 people can think it's loud, and then the rest can, 4 people can think it's not loud.
There will be another person sleeping.
And then
like
someone
there will
is
be
sleeping,
snoring literally.
and then someone is just indifferent. So
You said you live in Nyamirambo.
Yes.
And during COVID, you almost failed to sleep because it was too quiet.
It was too quiet. It was too quiet because it's always been loud there. I mean, but we knew you kind of like there's spaces, big cities. We know places that are residential, and you go there and you move there with the intention where you want to be away from the hustle and bustle of a city. And businesses also have a space in the city to be able to operate, whether it's a club, whether it's a rooftop lounge that just wants to be a little bit open so people can look at the views, because we have views.
Beautiful views. We can deny ourselves
beautiful
that.
views, and we have a lot of people coming in, tourists that really love rooftop lounge. They love them. They come and they're so happy. They're like, oh my goodness, we never see views like this where we're from.
Exactly.
And so just having clarity and having something we can move on that is not based on human bias or human emotion, because sometimes those things come out and you never know,
You could see them, you could feel them in this process, huh?
Yes. So when they released the decibels, I was happy. I was like, at least we're starting.
We got somewhere.
We're moving somewhere where at least, and there's the distinctions between the zones and all of that. So we're moving to a point where as a business, I feel calm and I feel like, you know what, okay, this is great. I love how this is going. I love the aspect of us having clear regulations and clear instructions on how to operate, because that's all we need. That's all we want.
No, I love it. There's always room for improvement.
There's always room for improvement. I feel like if you think that you've got to the point where you do not, you cannot receive any feedback, I think that's where you lose. Like for me, I literally, Bicu customers come and I'm like, did you enjoy the food? Did you have any feedback? And they're like, no, it's okay. I'm like, you can be honest. It's fine. I think this whole thing, I'm really there. I'm like, I want to know the good and the bad, because if I don't know the bad, how are we going to grow? How are we going to do better? We're just going to stay stagnant and comfortable, and you cannot. You can't grow in that.
No, you can't. No. Let's have a look at 6 Qs. What is the best life advice you have ever received?
Oh, what's the best life advice? I think to be myself always, and to always share my story. Never let somebody else have reins over my story. I think that's very profound, even
amazing.
To us
Where did it come from?
As a nation. I think it also came from just us fighting all the, I don't even know what to put it. But we know all the chitty chatter that is insignificant, and us rising above it and deciding we're going to be the narrators of our own story.
We will tell our own story.
We will all tell our own story. And that was profound for me. I said, you know what, nobody's going to beat me. I will tell my story.
What is the best memory, or childhood memory you have of you and your family?
Wow. Oh my God, there's so many.
And I love how fondly you speak of them.
There's so many. I don't even know which one to pick. I felt I picked that one where I was singing to the unfortunate patients that had to go through my singing voice. But I think
that was therapeutic. They appreciated
the entertainment. I love it. I think for the longest time, my family supported me but didn't understand me in the creative and performing arts. I was in Mashirika for the longest time. Shout out Mashirika.
Wow.
And for the longest time, they didn't understand it. They were like, oh, okay. Like, my extended family, they were like, yeah, well, we don't understand this.
But we'll still come along.
But no, they would just never come. So one time we had a whole performance showcase at the expo grounds. I remember, I think it was in 2009, I guess. And my family came. And my grandmother was like, oh my goodness. Like, so this singing I was hearing in your room, it was not just for wow.
You were building a career. You started that early.
Yeah, they were finally seeing everything, and they were like, so all these practices, and they're like, wow, okay, maybe we don't get it. Maybe it's not because my grandmother was very much maths, like your lawyer, business, or she was
doctor.
Yeah, she was very much. Even though she opened started like me, bar and then a hotel. But even her, she was like business maths, and me and maths were not very good friends.
Same here.
But for her to see me and my mom and my uncles and everybody to see me in that, and also be proud that was big for me. That was big for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a young chick. You got a whole world ahead of you. But do you have any regrets in life up until this point?
I don't know. I love to lead my life with no regrets. And even if whatever I do, I sit in it and say, you know what? If I've decided in this moment that this is what I wanted to do,
I'll do it.
I'll do it. Yeah. I may be, but you can't regret not getting to that extent or getting to that base of life early. Maybe I would say I would have loved to be this when I was 25. But I feel like you go through everything. I think I can't discount all the challenges that came with those late 20s that molded me to be a little bit more grounded in my early 30s. Yeah. So no, I trust not to live with regret, because regret seeps into you. It's like a nice,
It does, yeah.
you know those stickers that leave glue?
Oh
those
yes, or the fabric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They never leave.
They don't.
So yeah, so I
regret
try
is like
my
that.
best to,
We should do our best not to entertain that.
yeah. If you decide something in that moment, give yourself grace that is what you felt was best in that
And live with the
moment.
consequences.
Yeah.
If you were to change anything about you, what would it be?
I'd be 5'10".
To go where?
5'10".
Which basketball
So I
team?
could be a model. I wanted to be a see me walking these runways. Honestly, let me tell you, if I was 5'10",
Yeah.
you know,
This world would see
let
fire.
me tell you, I would be on the Gucci, Versace runway.
Cover of Vogue magazine.
Vogue. Yeah.
Sonia, you're crazy. Oh my God, what would you say to the 20-year-old Sonia?
No. I would say it gets better. I would say don't talk in the window too much. I mean, in the mirror, because there's a way you like give yourself pep talks. Like, it's okay. I would say, give yourself more grace. Give yourself internal hugs.
Oh.
You know. And just appreciate those moments, even the bad, because they mold you. The bad mold, like my time, COVID, all these things mold you into making better decisions, into being self-aware, into understanding how to communicate with others, how to level with others, how to meet people on the same table and interact and everything. So just be appreciative of every experience. Every experience makes you who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And lastly, what do you do for self-care?
What do I do for self-care? Wow, to my list. What do I do for self-care? My self-care are my friends. I think I mentioned them a lot.
You've mentioned your friends quite a lot.
Yeah, I feel like this is enough.
No, you must have chosen your friends really well.
I feel like they chose me. I don't
they
think
chose you.
We gravitate towards each other, and I'm very thankful. I'm very blessed to have a group of friends here, a group of friends in Nairobi and I'm very thankful to my business partner, my aunt. We're like this.
Isn't she like way older than you?
We're 11 years apart, so we're like sisters.
Oh, that's like your sister.
That's my sister.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful to my not sister.
your aunt, not aunt, not.
And I'm thankful to my mom, of course, and to my grandma. She passed last year.
Oh. May she
but
rest in peace.
The Rock.
Yeah.
The person who inspires me the most. Oh,
Yeah.
I get emotional. Yeah.
We celebrate her.
Yeah.
Don't get emotional now. Thank you, Sonia.
Thank
you. You are, did somebody say you're a ray of sunshine?
Aww.
What are you? You're amazing.
Maybe it's the earrings.
No, it's everything about you.
Thank
You're
you.
amazing.
Thank you so
I have
much.
truly enjoyed this conversation, and I'm sure the viewer has as well. There is so much to learn from you. I'm so touched. I'm so inspired. That part where you talk about giving ourselves grace. You're talking to the young 20-year-old, but even me in my early 40s, I need to give myself some grace.
Yeah.
So thank you for that advice.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And because there's a lot going on in I would say, the younger generation, the 20s, in their 20s are struggling a lot. Just know that not to sit in the dark. like envision the light, because sometimes the dark can engulf you and all you can do is think and sit in it, but think of light.
Envision the light.
Envision the light.
Sonia, God bless you.
Thank you.
You're beautiful.
Thank you.
This has been such a beautiful conversation. My goodness, I have enjoyed myself. It's touched all the right places. If you're watching and you come somewhere close to Sonia, please be my next guest. My name is Jackie. It has been a pleasure hosting Sonia of Bicu Lounge on The Real Talk. We're coming to you from Mythos Boutique Hotel. Please check them out and kindly engage as on social media. Use the hashtag The Real Talk. We'll see you next week. God bless you.